Hello everyone, I'm Tara, the dance doctor. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is all about Kizomba. So if you've never danced Kizomba before, the first part of this video is for you as I teach 3 basic figures and practice them with you with music. In the second part of this video, I teach some basic techniques and hip actions that you can add on top of the steps. So if you already dance a little bit of Kizomba, but you're wanting to add some style and some sensuality into it, that part of the video is for you. And at the end of the video, I also put together a little practice routine that I do with music with you so that you can use that to practice all of the concepts that I've taught in this video. We're gonna get right into the lesson. Before we do, I just wanna remind you to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel and turn on the post notifications so you can see when I upload more content like this. Now let's get dancing. Hey guys, so I forgot to mention that because this is a long video, I will be putting timestamps for each section of the video in the description box below. So if you'd like to look for a certain part of the video, skip ahead or go back, you can find those timestamps in the description box. I also wanted to mention that this lovely man that I'm dancing with in this video, his name is Victor, and he is in Havana, Cuba, and he is the best Kizomba teacher I have ever had. If you ever go to Havana, I highly recommend you take classes with him. And he also has a YouTube channel where he uploads instructional videos for partner dancing in Kizomba. So I'm going to put a link to his channel right now so that you can look him up and learn from him as well. All right, now let's get into the lesson. So the first basic step that we're going to be learning today is just a slow march. So all it is step, hold, step, hold, step, hold, step, hold. I want to make sure that I'm keeping my torso and my shoulders nice and level. All I'm doing is stepping on one foot, holding my weight on that foot. Then I step on the other foot and hold my weight on that foot. I want to do this with counts. I also want you to know that every step that we take in Kizomba, we are going to lift our foot slightly off the ground before we step. So I go and step, hold and step, hold and step, hold and step, hold, as this is a walking dance. So every step that we take, we are going to make sure that we're actually lifting our foot and placing it back down again, as that's going to be helpful when we dance with music. It's going to help us coordinate our movements with the rhythm of the song. So now we'll try it with counts. We go and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, 8 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, 8. Now let's try that with music. 5, 6, starting with the right, and we go and a step, hold, step, hold, step, 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 hold, and step. Side step with a tap. So it looks like this. We go side, tap, side, tap, side, tap, side, tap. Just like that. So whereas in the first basic, I'm stepping and I'm holding my weight, in this one, we're going to be doing 2 different actions on 2 different beats instead of 1 action and holding. So I go again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, making sure that I'm keeping my torso nice and level and that I'm picking up my foot between each action, that I'm not sliding my feet on the ground as I do this. Let's try it with music. We go 5, 6, ready, and step, tap, step, tap. some technique and how to move our body, is a combination of walking and rocking. So I'm going to demonstrate it with my back to you. I'm going to start with my right foot, and I go back, back, rock, step, forward, forward, rock, step. So what I mean when I say rock step is that I'm changing my weight without changing the actual location of my feet. I'm rocking back and forth between my feet without moving them. So I'll do that again. So I walk. 1, 2, rock, step. 1, 2, rock, step. And for the moment, we're going to keep our feet on the ground in the rock step. So I will lift them off the ground when I'm walking. When I rock, I'm going to keep them on the ground. So then I go lift, lift, stay, lift, lift, stay. Just like in the other figures, we want to make sure that we are keeping our upper body super still and level, so we're not tilting as we walk. So again, we go 1, 2, rock, step, walk, walk, rock, step, walk, walk, rock, step, walk, walk, rock, step. Now let's try it with music. 5, 6, ready, go fast. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now that we've learned our 3 basic figures, we're going to learn some body actions that we can use on top of those figures to accentuate our dancing and the music while we dance Kizomba. So we're going to start with our feet together like we do in the first basic that we learned. And what we want to do is just alternate bending and straightening our knees, because as you can see, what that does is it tilts my pelvis. A lot of people think when they're dancing, they're supposed to move their hips side to side, but moving my hips side to side actually looks like this. And you don't often see people doing that while they're dancing. So I'm actually tilting my pelvis, and how I achieve that is by bending one knee, because when I bend one knee, my hips naturally tilt. So I'm going to go and step onto a bent knee, straighten it, and step. Straighten and step. Straighten and step. Straighten and step. Straighten and step. And so as you can see, just the action of bending and straightening my knees is actually responsible for moving my hips in a way that we use in Kizomba. I want to make sure that our hips are always tilting down toward the knee that's bending. Sometimes I find people doing this when they dance, and that is incorrect. So one more time, I go and step, straighten, and step, straighten, and step, straighten. So as you can see, my hip tilt is coordinating with the lifting of the foot, and then it deepens as I put my foot down on the ground. Straighten to come back into neutral, and step. Straighten, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4. What we can add on to this is actually a pelvic tilt forward and backward. So in addition to tilting our pelvis side to side, we're also tilting it forward and backward when we dance Kizomba. So I'll demonstrate that from the side. So I'm going to go and as I do my hand, as I pick up my foot, I'm actually going to tilt my pelvis a little bit forward and step. And then I can bring my pelvis back into neutral, maybe slightly, tilt it slightly back, and step. And step. And a step, and a step. which actually brings it physically in front, and then I tilt it forward, which takes it behind me. And step, and step. And so if I do that from the front, you can see that my pelvis is tilting up and down, or side to side, and it's also going forward and backward. So that's a more advanced action. If the first action that we did was difficult for you, I suggest you stick with that, because that one alone can take some time to feel natural in our bodies. But if you want the added challenge and the added body action, you can try to add not only the side to side or up and down tilt, but also the forward and back. So now let's try doing the first basic that we learned with these actions incorporated with music. So we're going to start doing everything half time, and then we'll go into real time, just to give our bodies a chance to start to assimilate this technique. So we'll take 4 counts for each step instead of 2. Starting with our right. 5, 6, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. 2, 3, 4, and 1. Some different things that we can do in our second basic, which is the side tap. So the first thing that we want to be aware of is that we are going to use the same basic action that we used in the first basic, which is going onto a bent knee and then straightening. So let's just start with that. We go bend, straight, tap. Bend, straight, tap. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. If that's a challenge for you, stay with that. If you feel like that's doable, then we're going to add some different actions that we can do on our tap. So I'm going to first do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So on my tap, I'm actually going to push into the ground with the foot that I'm tapping on, keeping the heel off the ground, but it's like I'm attempting to straighten my knee. And in that attempt, I'm going to achieve this pelvic tilt again, and then I'm going to let my pelvis drop back down onto my standing leg. So I'm trying to straighten my knee, but I don't totally get there, and then I drop back down. So again, I go side and tap and side and tap and. Another very important part of doing these actions on the taps in Kizomba is not allowing it to make your entire body bounce. We want the elevation to stop at the top of our hips. So from our rib cage up, everything stays level, because when you're dancing with a partner, that's where your connection is. So if your connection is bouncing all around, it's going to be very difficult to follow. So what I like to think about when I'm doing these tap actions, which we also use a lot in bachata, is to bring the crest of my hip up to meet my bottom rib. So I'm not taking everything up in a way, I'm just bringing the hip up, and the rib stays where it is so that my hip bone can meet my top rib. Okay, so let's try that again. So I go 1 and hip meets the rib and 1 and hip meets the rib and 1. And as you can see, when I think about that, my shoulders stay completely level so that I can keep my chest with my partner when I dance with a partner. But even when you're not dancing with a partner, we want the focus to be on our hip action. So if our whole body is moving up and down, then it takes away from our hip isolation. So the second option that we have when we're doing our tap in Kizomba is to do a hip circle toward the standing leg. So that looks like this. Step and circle and step and circle, step, circle. Again, everything I'm doing, I'm creating either from my knees or from my abdomen so that I can maintain my shoulders and my head nice and calm and level. Okay, so I'm doing step, circle, step, and I circle. If I'm stepping on my left foot, in this case, I'm going to do my circle to the left. So I'll do it facing away so you can follow me. I do step, circle to the right, step, circle to the left, step, circle to the right, step, circle to the left. So as you can see, the circle happens as I'm bringing my foot into tap. I can actually feel like my hips are bringing my foot in together with the other foot. Okay, so now we're going to try both of these actions with music. So just as with the first basic, we're going to first do this half time and then we'll speed up to real time, okay? So we go 5, 6, ready, we go step and tap and step. Our basic Latin motion that we used in our first basic step, but we're also going to play a little bit with our levels. But first, let's just practice the step using the Latin motion concept of having a bent knee and pushing into the floor to straighten. So we'll do our basic 3, we go. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. And just like in the previous two, if that by itself is challenging for you, I encourage you to stick with that for a while until it starts to feel natural, and then you can incorporate the next thing that we're going to do. Which is, when we do our back rock, we're actually going to lower a little bit and bend both knees and add a more exaggerated swing with our hips, like a bell swing. So we're just going to take our feet apart and bend our knees, and we're going to practice just swinging our hips side to side. So it's a similar feeling to what we did in the second basic of bringing the crest of the hip up to meet the rib cage while keeping the rest of the body level. Now do that with your right foot behind and your left foot in front. Swing, 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 swing. And we can take our knees out to the side a little bit. Kizomba is unique in that way because of the proximity between me and my partner, whereas normally when I'm doing Latin motion, I'm trying to squeeze my legs together. When I do Kizomba, because his knee will probably be between my thighs, I'm going to leave them a little bit open. So now we're going to try basic 3, adding that movement in. So I go 1 and 2 and 3, 4, come back up, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now let's try that with music. 5, 6, 5, 6, ready, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I go 1. All 3 of the basics and the actions that we worked on in this video. So we'll start with our basic 1 and we'll go 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, 8. Basic 2, 1 with the tap, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now with the circle, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Basic 3, 1, 2, normal, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now going low, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, normal, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and going low, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we can start again with our basic 1. So now I'll demonstrate it facing away so that you can follow along. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. With the circle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Going low, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and normal, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Going low, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we can start over on our right, doing our first basic. Now let's try the whole thing with music. that's it. Thanks so much for joining me for this Kizomba Basics video. If you found it helpful and you enjoyed yourself, don't hesitate to share it with a dancing friend, give it a like, and subscribe to my channel so that you can see more stuff like this. And also, don't forget to check out Victor's channel so that you can also learn from him. Until next time, keep dancing. Yo no estoy pensando